Hey there, welcome to another episode of Star Wars Accolades, where I'm looking at all the awards and in a way the non-awards won by Star Wars movies. Today's episode is featuring Attack of the Clones. So, it has actually received nominations and awards, respectable, not just joke. But let us begin with first the Oscars, where it was nominated for one Oscar. The Oscar was nominated for was Best Visual Effects. That's the only Oscar nomination it has. So for the Star Wars film, since most get at least multiple, this one is light. But that does happen sometimes. Now we're moving on to the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films. So, in 2003, Attack of the Clones won the Saturn Award for Best Costume Designs and won it also for Best Visual Effects. They also, for the Saturn Award, tied with the costume designers. They tied with the costume designers for the Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers. But so yeah, so 2 wins for the Saturns and 1 tie, pretty good. But it was also nominated for a handful of Saturn Awards as well. The Saturn Awards Attack of the Clones was nominated for was Best Science Fiction Film, Best Actress, that being Natalie Portman, Best Performance by a Young Actor, that being Hayden Christensen, Best Director, that being George Lucas, and Best Music, that being John Williams. Also they were nominated for the Saturn Award for Best DVD Special Edition release. So those are the handful of Saturn Award nominees. Now let's move on to the 2003 Broadcast Film Critics Association Awards, where it was nominated for the Critics' Choice Award for Best Digital Acting Performance, that being Frank Oz for playing Yoda. Now let's move on to the 2003 DVD Exclusive Awards, where it was nominated for the DVD Premiere Award for Best Overall New Extra Features, New Release, Best New Enhanced or Reconstructed Movie Scenes, for the fully produced deleted scenes with CGI effects, for retrospective documentary new release from Puppets to Pixels, and for Best Menu Design. So that's specifically though referring to the DVD that was released of it. Now let's move on to the 2003 Empire Awards. The 2003 Empire Awards UK, where it won the Empire Award for Best Scene. Let me rephrase that. Well, Attack of the Clones won the Empire Award for Scene of the Year, that being Yoda's duel. And now let's move on to the Guinness World Record Awards. So most of these, it's only included because of the combination with all the other Star Wars and also properties by George Lucas. So I'm not going to go through all of them. I just wanted to give them a mention since there's nothing specifically directed at Attack of the Clones. Now let's move on to the Motion Picture Sound Editors USA from 2003, where Attack of the Clones was nominated for the Golden Reel Award for Best Sound Editing in Domestic Features, Sound Effects, and Foley. Now let's move on to the 2003 MTV Movie and TV Awards, where it won the MTV Movie Award for Best Fights, that being Christopher Lee as Count Dooku vs. Yoda, and was nominated for 3. It was nominated for 2 MTV Movie Awards. So those 2 nominations were for Best Virtual Appearance for Yoda and Best Action Sequence, being the arena conflict. I would have called it the arena badge myself. Now let's move on to the 2003 Online Film and Television Association, where it was nominated for 3 OFTA Film Awards. It was nominated in Best Sound Mixing, Best Sound Effects Editing, and Best Visual Effects. Now let's move on to the Online Film Critics Society Awards in 2003, where it was nominated for 2 OFCS Awards, those nominees being Best Visual Effects and Best Sound. Now let's move on to what most of you are wanting, the 2003 Razzie Awards. And it was and it won 2 Razzies. It won the Razzie Award for Worst Supporting Actor, specifically they targeting Hayden Christensen, and then it won, well, you can call it win, I guess, the Worst Screenplay, that being George Lucas and Jonathan Hales. And then of course they also give bogus names for the movie as well, being the Razzies. But it was nominated for a handful of Razzies, including Worst Picture, Worst Supporting Actress, that being Natalie Portman. Kind of funny because there was one where she was nominated for something positive. Worst Screen Couple, definitely I would agree with that. Worst Director, and Worst Remake or Sequel, which I agree with, especially for the Star Wars movies. But now let's actually talk about some good or positive awards again. The 2003 Satellite Awards, where it was nominated for 1 Golden Satellite Award in Best Costume Design. Now let's go on to the 2003 SFX or Special Effects Awards UK, who was nominated for the SFX Award for Best Science Fiction or Fantasy Film, Best Science Fiction or Fantasy Film Director, and Best Science Fiction or Fantasy Film Music. That's referring to John Williams. Now let's move on to the 2002 Teen Choice Awards, where it won the Teen Choice Award for Film Choice Actress, Drama / Action Adventure, that being Natalie Portman, and it was nominated for 3 Teen Choice Awards for Film Choice Movie, Drama, Action Adventure, Film Choice Actor, Drama / Action Adventure, Hayden Christensen, Film Choice Chemistry. So this is basically, so the Teen Choice Awards basically totally disagreed with the Razzies. I agree more with the Razzies. But now, of course, you guys like the Razzies when referring to this film. Now let's talk about the Stinkers Bad Movie Awards. Well, it won 1 Stinker Award for Worst Supporting Actor, that being Hayden Christensen. And it was nominated for 2 of them, 2 Stinker Awards, one being Most Annoying Non-Human Character. If you have to guess, it is Jar Jar. And Worst Screenplay for a film grossing more than 100 million using Hollywood math. Again, kind of more like the Razzies poking fun. But let's talk about a little more positive awards now. Actually, pretty more positive. From the Visual Effects Society in 2003, where won 1 VES or VES award for Best Matte Painting in the Motion Picture. It was also nominated for a handful of VES awards, including Best Visual Effects in an Effects-Driven Motion Picture, Best Character Animation in a Live Action Movie, Best Models and Miniatures in a Motion Picture, Best Visual Effects Photography in a Motion Picture, and Best Effects Art Direction in a Motion Picture. And now let's move on to the 2002 World Soundtrack Awards, where it was nominated for the World Soundtrack Awards for Best Original Soundtrack of the Year. And then and to end with the 2003 Young Artist Awards, where it was nominated for 2 Young Artist Awards, them being Best Performance in a Feature Film supporting young actor Daniel Logan, that's who played young Boba Fett, by the way, which I've heard people disagree with essentially what this Young Artist Awards nominated him for. Funny. And lastly, the last nomination was Best Family Feature Film Fantasy. I think they were a bit crazy with that one there, but young artists, sounds like young adults, teenagers. But there you have it. That concludes this episode of Star Wars Accolades. So tomorrow I'll be talking about my favorite moments from the Attack of the Clones. And yes, I do have at least one. I just got to remember it. And then also, I'll be in a few coming weeks doing the finishing. Then in about a week or 2, I'll be finishing up the prequel trilogy for Star Wars Accolades. Then I'm going to be moving on to the sequel trilogy and the standalone films and the TV series. So stay tuned for that. So thank you for watching this episode of Star Wars Accolades. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and comment down below. What did you think about all the awards and joke awards? You can call them that. episode 2 was gifted. So as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the force be with you, always.